Buying a property is a huge commitment, and due diligence is essential to ensure that you make an informed purchase. The first thing to consider is the timing of your due diligence. Ideally, it should be done before making an offer on a property. This is particularly important if you are looking to purchase at auction, as auction bids are unconditional. If you win the auction, you'll be required to pay a deposit on the auction day and complete settlement as detailed in the sale and purchase agreement. However, in some circumstances, you may not have time to complete your due diligence or may opt to make a conditional offer. If this is the case, ensure that the offer is conditional on due diligence occurring by specifically noting what you require. For example, a LIM report, builder's report, or solicitor's approval. The second key thing is checking out the record of title. In New Zealand, legal ownership of land is listed on a record of title. Titles are held electronically by Land Information New Zealand. The title should be reviewed to ensure you understand what type of property you are buying, for example, a freehold, leasehold, unit title, or cross-lease property, and if there are any restrictions registered on title that might affect your use and enjoyment. While a real estate agent will often provide you with a copy of the title, we recommend independent searches be completed through LIMs. The third thing to check out is the sale and purchase agreement itself. Read the sale and purchase agreement and make sure the title and description of what you're buying match. If the standard form of sale and purchase agreement, which is the ADLS form, has been modified in any way, it may indicate potential problems. For example, the vendor may refuse to provide the usual warranties in relation to weather tightness or building compliance. Where the vendor has amended the sale and purchase agreement, further inquiries should be made. A Land Information Memorandum or LIM report is a council document that contains information about the property. Now this will include information on consents, permits, contamination, and any other relevant information that may affect the property. One key area to check is if there are any requisitions on the property, for example, notices to fix, and if property has council approval for work, for example, code compliance certificates or certificates of acceptance. If work has been completed without the appropriate approvals, this can become problematic with finance and insurance, and where you may come to sell the property in the future. With the recent flooding that has occurred throughout New Zealand, you should ensure that the property does not have any flooding issues or instability noted on the LIM. Often a LIM report will be provided by the real estate agent, but it's important to note that you cannot rely on this report if the council has failed to disclose any issues. In order to rely on the LIM, if you ever wanted to make a claim for inaccuracy in the future, you must order your own report prior to completing the purchase. Another thing to consider if you're getting into an in-depth background check on a property is what's called the property file. A property file is a set of documents held by the council showing all plans and correspondence that the council has on the property. The property file has documents that are not included in the LIM, such as building and resource consent plans. This can be particularly useful if you want to dig deeper into the construction and the background of the property. The contents of a property file depend on the work done on the property that the council is aware of. If building work does not have consent, it won't be on the file. Note, a property file does not replace a LIM report, and a property file should be ordered in addition to a LIM report. Another important thing to do is hire a building inspector who is suitably qualified to complete an inspection on the property. The building inspector will check for any defects or issues that need to be addressed. If defects are identified, you can either negotiate with the vendor to have the defects rectified, accept the property with the known defects, or where the agreement is conditional on a building report, cancel the agreement. A building inspection is also really helpful from a property maintenance perspective, as it will give you an idea of upcoming work and when you might need to complete it. To ensure you make a sound investment, getting a valuation can be a wise addition to your due diligence. A valuation may also be required by your bank, especially if the agreement is not made through a real estate agent. A valuation can help you avoid overpaying for your home and identify rental and resale opportunities. When calculating your finances, consider rates, insurance, and other financial expenses such as body corporate or homeowners association fees. We suggest you arrange pre-approval with your bank before making an offer so you know what you can afford. A mortgage broker can help you with this process. Zoning. New Zealand's zoning laws have recently been changed to allow for increased housing density in many urban areas. You should review the local zoning to understand what can and cannot be built on the property and in the surrounding neighbourhood. Most councils now have interactive maps on their websites that show planning controls, for example, Auckland Council's geomaps. Local area research. It's important to research the area where the property is located. Look into things like the crime rate, nearby schools and local amenities. Ideally, you would visit the area and have a chat with the neighbours to understand if there are any local issues. This can help you determine if the property is located in a desirable area. If you're unable to see the property in person, we suggest you appoint a buyer's agent to assist you with this assessment. It's always a good idea to seek professional advice from a lawyer, accountant or real estate agent, especially if you are unfamiliar with the process or the local market. If you're wanting help researching a property, get in touch with NZ Legal by clicking in the link below.